What makes the perfect quarterback prospect? Some things are more important than others, but size, arm strength, athleticism, accuracy, physicality, having a high motor, being competitive, and ball placement are definitely atop the list. Now, former North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance is the type of quarterback you would build in a laboratory if you had the chance to do so. At 6'4", 226 pounds, maybe the best arm in the class, and the most physical runner of any quarterback in the class, Lance has just about everything you'd want from a tools standpoint when it comes to the quarterback position. Now, before we get into all the hype surrounding Lance even further, I want to go over these terms upside and ceiling and what they mean. Some sports fans can't stand these terms, but everyone has their own definitions, so let me explain mine. Having a high ceiling or having upside to me means a player that has a greater possible outcome just based on physical traits as well as room to grow due to youth or lack of experience. When you look at Lance, he has all those things. He has the lack of experience, having started only one full season at North Dakota State, and some people would prefer the unknown or what if of a prospect, especially one that has the physical tools that Trey Lance possesses. To make an NFL comparison, if you were the GM of an NFL team and had to choose between Kirk Cousins, who has a track record of being a mid-tier quarterback for almost a decade, or a chance to take Trey Lance and hope he turns into a top 5 quarterback, which one would you take? Most people would take Trey Lance aside from the risk-adverse type of people. There's always something appealing about the unknown or what if this guy ends up being the next Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, etc. But let's get into what there is to like and even love about Trey Lance as a prospect. Number 1, the lack of turnovers and the way he protected the ball as a one-year starter. For anyone that's familiar with Lance, it's famously known that he had 0 interceptions in 2019 on 287 pass attempts. For comparison, the NFL record for the most throws without an interception was 335, which is held by Tom Brady back in 2010. Yes, I do understand this is Division I FCS, which is nothing to write home about, but this kid literally went nearly 300 pass attempts as a 19-year-old without an interception. I don't care who you're playing against, it's impressive to me regardless. He did not lose any fumbles on the 169 rushing attempts he had as well. Number 2, the arm talent this guy possesses is crazy. Trey Lance may in fact have the best arm in the entire class. Is he the most accurate deep ball thrower in the class? Probably not. But the fact that this guy can keep secondaries honest and realize that he can beat you with 60+ yard throws over the top just adds an extra element that defenses have to account for. According to PFF, on 20+ yard passes in Lance's collegiate career, he is 17 of 44, which is 38%. That has to get better. 10 touchdowns, 1 dropped pass, and a 125.9 passer rating. So yes, he needs to be more accurate, and I'm sure he recognizes that, but the point is that you can teach someone to be more accurate. You can't teach someone to throw a ball 60 to 70 yards on the fly. Some guys just don't have the physical ability to do so. Even having the ability to fit a ball into a tight window is something that can go overlooked, especially in the NFL, where those windows are smaller, and a change in velocity can be a big difference between a completion, a pass breakup, or even an interception. Number 3, his rushing ability will make him one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the league. The term high floor can be used for Trey Lance because even if he does not hit the ground running as a passer right away, he can move an offense by just using his legs. We've seen examples of quarterbacks that know how to win despite not being the best pocket passers. Lamar Jackson is 30-7 in his career as a starter, and even Taysom Hill went 3-1 this past year. Even Tim Tebow went 7-4 as a starter and made the playoffs, and to call him not the best pocket passer would be a massive understatement. Trey Lance's rushing stats in 2019 were quite outrageous, to be honest. He put up 1,100 rushing yards on 169 attempts, which is 6.5 yards per carry, and even had 14 rushing touchdowns as well. If you average that out over his 16 games, he averaged 68.7 rushing yards per game, which once again gives you a huge advantage as an NFL offense, whether it's short yardage situations on 3rd and short, 4th and short, or even goal line situations. We've seen some quarterbacks be absolute weapons on the goal line, like Cam Newton, especially earlier in his career. Number 4, he's a tremendous athlete. Trey Lance's dad, Carlton Lance, was once an impressive collegiate corner, and in 2011 was inducted into Southern Minnesota State University's Athletics Hall of Honor. Carlton Lance did not play in the NFL, but did play in the Canadian Football League. So not only is Trey Lance going to be a top 15 pick in the NFL draft, but apparently he was a great basketball player as well. Lance was his team captain in high school and made an all-conference team as well. So I would say the guy has pretty good genes. Number 5, and this is very important for the quarterback position especially, but he's genuinely a good person. It's hard to find anything negative about Trey Lance's background. Instead, you'll find things like he hosts Bible studies, he visits children's hospitals, and he reads books to kids at local schools. Anyone that has either talked to Lance or played with him at some point will rave about the type of person he is. A man that puts God first, has leadership qualities, and treats everybody with respect. impact. Here's the bottom line on Trey Lance. Lance has many things that you cannot teach to other quarterbacks. He has physical traits and abilities that you can't teach, and he has the infectious personality that guys want to play with. I'd be naive to admit there aren't some flaws. He has to be more accurate, he has to process the game faster, he can't lock on to his first target every time and not look elsewhere, and he's a bit raw as a prospect overall. I do believe, however, that these things are fixable and can be coached out of a player. I do think Lance would benefit from sitting majority of his rookie year or even the whole thing, but sometimes these young quarterbacks are thrown into the fire way too early. If he goes to the right team that irons out his deficiencies and makes the transition to the NFL talent level as easy as possible, then they might find themselves a franchise quarterback. I think Carolina or San Francisco would be perfect fits for Trey Lance. Teddy Bridgewater can hold it down until he's ready, and San Francisco is just overall one of the best environments for young players to go to in general, especially with the offensive talent they have. I've seen different comps for him like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or even Deshaun Watson. I personally see more Watson, but if he ever reaches that type of level, then whoever is lucky enough to get him will be glad they did. That'll do it for this video. Leave in the comments, where do you think Trey Lance will go, and do you think he'll be successful in the NFL? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I'll talk to you next time.